Hello, everybody. Welcome back for all of you who've tuned in before, and welcome now for all you newcomers. So, what I want to talk about today is I see routinely in the crypto space, on YouTube specifically, about people talking about the best coins to buy for the month of April, the best coins to buy for the month of May, the best coins for the fill in the blank. You got the pattern by now. Right? And typically just people shilling their own coins. And honestly, fair play. Go for it. I'm doing my version of that today because some of the coins that I am going to go over, I own. Some of them I do not. They're all ones that I think that right now are still safe-ish, safe for crypto, at least to get into right now as we're kind of ramping up, getting into the bull run or are in the bull run, kind of just depending on where you define it as. I say that we're in the bull run right now. You can tell Bitcoin has gone all the way up. It's consolidating around that 93,000 last time I checked. And we're still waiting to see if it's going to break through and blow past the 100,000 marker. A lot of people really expecting it to hit 150 to 200,000. I'm far more bearish than that. I don't think it's going to get there. I will be surprised, not surprised. I wouldn't bet on it going past about 115, but that's me. I would not be shocked if it doesn't actually breach that 100,000 marker that everyone's been waiting for right now, because a lot of people are selling. People who bought $15,000, $20,000 Bitcoin, they're selling them right now. And the thought and the typical crypto pattern is they put into the altcoins. So right now things have been building up. We know that it's not too late to get into crypto, but it's getting close to there. So right now I'm looking at what are the best coins to get into right now. Some of them are safer plays like large market caps that should still keep going up. Some are the lower mid-market cap ones, but all ones that I'm confident are going to do pretty well still for this point. Obviously, they would all do a lot better had we gotten to a year ago, but we'll face it in the next bear market. So for those of you who are new, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me. For a small channel, helps me build up, get the information out there. I personally appreciate it a lot. Thank you. And while you're at it, feel free to click the little like button, ring the little ding thing so you get notifications when I release more videos. And at any point in the video, tell me what you think about it. I read the comments, I respond, probably more often than I should. So let's get into what I think are the best coins to get into for December, for the end of the year, to be thankful for, whatever little gimmick we want to go with this for today. So let's first do some quick honorable mentions. And yes, guys, I've got notes this time. I'm not driving in a car, so in theory, this will be more regimented than normal. Let's see how that theory works. So quick honorable mentions. I'm just going to hit these really quick. One is Pangolin PNG. It's a great little DEX, decentralized exchange. It's in there with almost every layer one. Like it's there that exchanges and bridges over Avalanche, over Hedera, over Binance, over Solana, Ethereum. It's great. And last time I looked, it's only around the 6 cent mark. Haven't looked in a while. It's on my watch list. But I think it is a great DEX to get into. There's one I like more. I'll talk about it today. But since I got into it, the DEX I'm talking about, Hashflow, has gone up significantly. Not too late. It's still small, but Pangolin's a pretty good honorable mention on this one. Next is AVAX or Avalanche. So I could say Solana. I could say Bitcoin. I wouldn't say Bitcoin. Not at this point. But we're looking at a large tier one. I think Avalanche is a very good one. I think it's getting too late to get into it for more than realistically a 5 to 8x, maybe push a 10x by now, but it is a safe play. It's a large layer one. It tends to target or centralize towards gaming. And gaming was expected to be a huge narrative this cycle. It hasn't yet, but narratives come up in bursts. I don't think gaming is going to not happen. I think gaming is going to have its narrative time for sure. There'll be a coin, I'll talk about it later. But Avalanche, great layer one. I think it's a good safe play at this point. Blast. Blast is an Ethereum layer 2. There are so many freaking Ethereum layer 2s. It just helps lower the cost because Ethereum is incredibly expensive to do trades on. You don't believe me? Try trading a couple times. See how much of your profits went out. I swear it's as bad as capital gains tax. But Blast, real quickly, I think it's a great one. Simply, it was the largest growing layer 2, which really just meant it had a lot of strong backing behind it, but that's still huge positive. It also decreases the odds that it's going to disintegrate into the atmosphere, like a lot of crypto, specifically layer 2s, because there's dozens of these things as regulation, everything comes in. But for the short run, last time I looked, I don't think it's breached the 2 penny mark yet. I use it a little bit for trading. I like it. Good coin. So now let's get into the ones that I genuinely think and will recommend, though none of this is financial advice. We'll get into, let's do the first one. If you are so against QNT or Quant, just fast forward 60 seconds, 2 minutes into this, and feel free to put all of your FUD down below in the comment section. I love Quant. I loved it the whole time. I loved it when I bought it first at $110, and I DC it all the way down into the 60s, and I'm continuing to DCA on the way back up. Last time I saw, it was in the mid-90s range. It has breached over 100 a little bit. This is personally my long-term play. However, I will sell some during this bull run. I will sell all of it if the price goes up high enough. My plan is to sell some of it to rebuy more later, because to me this is a big future large cap in the making. For those who don't know much about Quant, let's first say, okay, it's around the $94 mark. The market cap is essentially right on the 1.1 billion. So there's definitely room for it to grow in the bull run. But I'm seeing probably at most, realistically, a 5 to 10x on this one. But I believe it's incredibly safe. And to get in now for it, I think is a great time. It's all about the overledger, interoperability, pretty much making sure that one blockchain to different type of technology, real world finance to crypto, that they all blend and interoperate well together. It takes bridging to the next level. Quant is already in with so many regulatory bodies. Visa and MasterCard for Europe and I believe also US. Several large banks. Bank of Securities, BIS, Bank of London, Bank of Korea, Bank of Australia. They're already onboarding for this to be used, presumably, for the CBDCs. Quant's going to be one of those coins that's constantly being used and we don't recognize that we're using it. Like there's a very good chance that in the next couple of years at most, 2 or 3 years, that when you slide your Visa card or your MasterCard, it is going to send information through Quant's overledger. And it will distribute it where it needs to different banks and communications and do its all nerdy technical thing. Huge fan of Quant. It has been known up until about 2 weeks ago as a dead coin, meaning that the price action has been dead. It is a god tier project. It is going to be used. It's already being used. It's being signed and projects been put on by governments, regulatory bodies, large banks, like countrywide banks. It's not going anywhere. As safe as a bet as it can be to me. Do your own research, look into it. I think it's a great coin to jump into. Again, I'm expecting 5 to 10x on this one for the end of the bull run. A lot of people, you're going to hear this, probably say this quite a bit, or at least once or twice in most videos. I get told all the time that I got very bearish estimates of price predictions. I'm not going to sit here and say it's because I'm a realist. No, it's just I want to make sure that the price prediction I get are realistic for what I am willing to bet on and gamble. Quant, I've been hearing people say Quant go anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. It's not this cycle. It's not hitting $5,000 this bull run. 2030, when CBDCs are regulated and things are going normal, because they're expecting some CBDCs to be launching as early as mid next year, like Q2 of 2025. Okay, by 2030, I can see Quant getting up there to 2,000 to 5,000 range, depending on how things fall and align and all that. But not now. Not now. Sorry to bust that chop on that one. But if I'm wrong, I'm okay with being wrong. Just more money for all of us, right? So that's Quant, QNT, Overledger. I'm probably going to start doing more videos on that one. I feel like there's been so many videos on that one. I haven't been focused on that. I haven't been focusing on this next one either. Let's talk about my AI pick for this bull run, Render. So I freaking love Render. Again, we'll get back to, I think it's an incredibly safe play. I was going to say all of the ones I'll talk about today are not necessarily true, but I'm confident in all of these. So Render, last time I checked, was around $7.70. It's up to a $4 billion market cap. Again, doesn't concern me. It's in a great spot. people are saying it's going to go anywhere from $50 to $200. A few Moon Boys say $1,000 again. No way, not this cycle. I have my teeth in saying that it's going to stay on the bearish side, $45 to $55. Very realistic to me. On the more bullish side, I wouldn't be surprised if it got up to $80 to close the $100 mark. It's going to be really hard for it to cross that $100 because anytime we get to zeros, fives, $10, $50, $25, $100, $100,000 for Bitcoin, really hard for it to push through there because people are expecting it, so they sell. And other people are just waiting for it to cross. So it's going to be really hard for it to go to that 100. I'm planning on my exit strategy. I have planned on if it only gets up to 45. I will have a little bit of a moon bag for if and when it goes way past that. But realistically, $45 to $80 is where I put Render. So it is one of the main AI, deep in DeFi crypto out there, and it's got a lot of attention. That is huge. Crypto is a popularity contest. If no one's told you, I'm telling you right now, prices will go up short term because people are buying it, which means it's popular because we're willing to put off our hard-earned cash into it. Long-term price action is it being used, right? So Render's got both. It's also got a tertiary quaternary thing in there that I really like about it. So what Render does, it does rendering. Cleans up images, graphics, videos, every base software that does video editing renders. Have you ever seen something come up like you want to keep this resolution or increase the resolution? That's rendering it, right? Or part of what rendering does. If you're nerdy into that kind of stuff, feel free to correct me on the details below. I'm cool with that. So with Render, again, it saves, stores, and gives GPU power to other companies and projects so they can do things like rendering. It also just helps with computing power, which is stuff that's very well needed in regard for quick actions and for large projects like movies. And this has been the more recent things that Render has partnered up with is this company, I'm sure you've heard of it, called Paramount. They're working on a movie together to do their digital rendering for it. If this works out well, this is massive. Paramount is one of the largest movie or film companies in the industry, and if they hop on it, unless they do individual like solitary rights where no one else can use it, no compete clauses and all that, regardless, huge news for Render. It's got real world use, which for utility coins, it needs to have utility. So move on with that one. It's used a little bit by Instagram and Google in the background for some of their aspects. And something I like about it a lot is there's a built-in burning minting mechanism. I love this. If you are looking at building a crypto and you want me to talk about it or buy it or just think it's freaking awesome, put some sort of self-burning mechanism in there. It's a huge green flag to me. It helps prevent dilution, makes it inflationary. I spend too much time talking medical the rest of the day. My apologies. Stops inflationary. So, simply, the more it's used, some Render gets burned. And then they have nodes that mint more. And they can control to an extent how much gets burned and mint, so it can be, again, anti-inflationary. Love that. All right. Moving onward. So, at the beginning, when I said most people, when they do these movies, they show their own coins. Okay, yeah. So I'm talking about my own coins first, and then we'll get into other ones that I just think are great. Hash flow. Again. Oh, by the way, am I still DCAing? I'm DCAing into all these still. This is actually the one that has just gone over my price I personally have set to DCA into based off of my goals and where I got into. All the other ones I've DCA'd recently in. So hash flow. I really like this little coin. So last time I looked, it's around 23 cents, which puts it only at 110 million market cap. There's a lot of room for growth. It's 110 million market cap. All right. So just for it to get to that 1 billion, which is, I think, incredibly likely to do, now puts it at $2.30. And what do you know? I have an estimate. My prediction is going to be around $2.25 and $2. I've been saying 35 cents. Realistically, $2 to $2.50. and I'm banking on it. I really think this one's going to get there. So what is hash flow? It is a DEX. When I talked briefly about the honorable mention of Pangolin PNG, I chose hash flow instead of PNG to get into. I just like this one a little bit more, plain and simple. So it's a decentralized exchange. It is backed by Coinbase. Done. Look no further. No, definitely look further into it. But when things are backed by Coinbase, I'm interested. I'm jumping in. This is the first real bull run for this coin, which overall I see that as a positive. There's some negatives to it, but in this case, the fact that it came in at the end of the last bull run, this is the first real cycle it's had, I see that as a really good sign. It's on large exchanges, hence, again, it's backed by Coinbase. It's on Coinbase. The team, pretty solid. Their background into aerospace physics and controlling through computers, all the satellites and changes and all that other stuff that I don't know on that form of technology, but their LinkedIn profiles, their resumes looks very solid, and that matters, especially when it's a small team. And it's all they do. Big deal. So in terms of other positives, so in the last 2 weeks, it's doubled. Plain and simple. Last time I did a video on hash flow, it was around the 12 to 14 cents marker. It's now up to 23, 24 cents. Still, I think it's a great entry. I blocked my DCAing off at 22 cents on this one, and I have a buy limit set the second it drops under that. I think it'll still drop. I also kind of want it to drop, but trying to keep emotion out of it. The plan was wait, so that's what I'm going to end up doing. It's up until recently, it went percentage to percentage on the chart with Avalanche, which I really liked. One, hash flow works a lot with Avalanche. Again, it's a decentralized exchange, so it helps read or send transactions, everything in between a bunch of different layer 1s, layer 2s, etc., trading, lending, borrowing, blah, blah, blah. But it works very closely with Avalanche, and their charts for the year were nearly identical, which was great once I noticed that, for me at least, because it usually trailed behind Avalanche by a couple of days, like 1 to 3 days. If Avalanche had an 8% boost, Hashflow had a roughly 6 to 8% boost a couple of days later. So every time I saw Avalanche go up, I bought. I did that a couple of times, and it worked out really well for me. And if I see Avalanche dip, I keep an eye on it. So if you guys see Avalanche dip as you're watching this, let me know, or just look. I'm probably buying Hashflow at this point. Again, I think it's a great coin. You want to find another safe DEX, I think this is it. There's over 650 million different wallets connected to it, so it's being used. Again, big deal. All right. Next up is H-Bar Hedera. God, I love this coin. Again, God tier token in terms of what I care about. It is going to be set with regulations. It's going to be set with CBDCs. We're now having Elon Musk talk about it, Donald Trump talking about it. You can't really get higher than those two, at least here in the US, of people talking about your crypto. All right. If you guys don't know what Hedera is, go through YouTube. There's plenty of videos on it. In short, it's a kind of blockchain. We'll call it a hash graph because it is faster, more scalable, and cheaper. It's also what had its price action down so low as it needs like billions of transactions every couple of minutes to bring in income because of how cheap it is. But that's also why large corporations are going to flock to it and have been flocking to it. So there's been a lot of big news on HBAR recently. I've talked about a lot of them. I think the last video I recorded, I talked about it. So in short, other than it is lining itself up to be used for plenty of CBDCs with XRP, Quant, Algo, Chainlink. It's one of those ERC 2202 coins, helping with finance of crypto into the real world finance. HBAR is phenomenal. The team is incredibly active. They've been shaking hands, making deals for years, and it's frustrated people because the price action hasn't moved. But price action moves when you guys buy the damn thing. So yell at yourself. But the price action's been moving. It went up like over 2x in about, most of it was in like a 9-day period. And it was all due to news and hype, which was awesome. Everything from HBAR had its first EFT being submitted, which they applied for it. They're going to get. There's no reason for them not to. Rumors about Donald Trump, who he was really big on voting policies and ID verifications to make it so there's less voting fraud. The rumor is that Hedera, Cardano, and X, Twitter, are going to be used for ID verification and voting for the next election. That alone was a big deal. Even if it doesn't get that far, the way that they can use a voting system like that for ID verification, they use everything from fingerprinting for who all needs to get fingerprints routinely? Cops, firemen, teachers, doctors. So many people, they have this built into it. The previous board member, Brian Brooks, which if he got that job, holy crap, just the news of it increased. Where else are we? SpaceX, Elon Musk is using Hedera in some capacity for the satellites going off in, I believe it's January. So Hedera is going to the moon, almost literally. We just don't know to what extent it's being used. Google Chrome. Google is looking at what's going to sell Chrome, so that way it avoids the whole monopoly legal issues. And rumor, unofficial, at least as of this recording, Hedera might buy it. And that makes all the sense in the world because Google is part of the Hedera Governing Council, which, if you don't know what that is, there's 39 spots, 32 or 33 are currently filled, of large corporations that are brought in with Hedera to vote and regulate the entire thing, to see what direction it's going. Almost everyone on the council uses Hedera. Google's one of the few that doesn't. If they sold to Hedera, as the rumor's been implying, then they're still going to have say on it. They're still going to be able to help control what Chrome does. They're going to still take equity from it. So they're going to be invested several ways because they're still on Hedera's council. And this is right up Hedera's alley of things that it can do. I'm buying the rumor and I'm waiting for the news to come out official, but that won't happen until, a couple of hours at minimum after everything's been done and finalized. Last time I looked, it was around 14 cents. I bought at 4, I bought at 12, I bought back down at 4, and everywhere in between. And again, this is one that's going to irritate some people who are really big into H-bar. Again, I'm relatively bearish on it, but I'm looking at it between 60 cents and $1.20. Could it candle wick higher than that to where it goes up and comes straight down? Of course it can. It could even maintain higher than that this bull run. I'm not betting on it. I still think it's got a good 8 to 12x from here. My safety bet, again, me personally, is that by the time it gets into about 50 cents, I'll be 80% out. Because that's the all-time high. And at that point, I got my profits. And I'll keep some in there for sure. And I plan on rebuying in once it goes down, presuming it does, and in the bear market. And if it doesn't, there's plenty of other great crypto. I'll find the next one. But I very much like H-bar. I think it's one that if you've been holding out on, wondering if it's too late, it's not, but it's going to get kind of close. I don't know if it's going to go back down. All right. I would be surprised if it goes back down under 10 cents. I'm kind of expecting to be one more altcoin dip unless Bitcoin is done going up. We'll find out soon. But there, Hedera, H-bar. I can talk a lot about that one. So can everyone else who's been studying it. And the last one of my current coins. Sorry, I'm back on camera. Last one of my current coins, Foxy. This is my meme coin. I was in a turbo for a little bit. It was a great swing trading coin for me. And then eventually I swung it and it didn't come back down. And now it kind of has, but I've stayed out of it. Foxy, this is the one that I'm investing into for this bull run. That I plan on keeping until it gets closer to my price prediction of 25 to 35 cents. It's currently at about, it hasn't really breached past 1.5 cents. It is not on a major exchange, not like it's not on Binance or Coinbase. If it gets there, I will raise my prediction by a good 10 to 20 cents. Done. Just because now it's available. But the reason why I like Foxy is it's a small market cap right now. I believe it's under 50 million. I think it was about 44 million market cap. So exponential growth potential. The lower it is, the higher it can end up going. And it's a meme. So it doesn't have use, but this one kind of has a use as a mascot for a layer 2 on Ethereum called Linea. They call it a culture coin. It's a meme. I love the thing. It's still a meme coin, but it's trying to build a culture around it, which is all meme coins do anyway. But it's the mascot to Linea, and it's the mascot, in a sense, to MetaMask, one of the largest hot wallets out there. Because the parent company owns MetaMask, also owns Foxy, also owns Linea. That company is called Consensus. It was formed by one of the initial founders of Ethereum. That network, it digs deep. I'm I'm sure it's who you know and who you know that knows who that gets you in this world. And that's one of the best connection peoples, Joe Do a blend, that you can get. Not to mention then the free advertising of Linea and MetaMask. MetaMask is quite large. Linea is new and developing. They're going to launch their own token called Linea in the first quarter of this coming year, first quarter of 2025. And anything that's good for Linea is good for Foxy. So we'll see where that one goes. I'm expecting at this point a 15 to 30x. I think is very realistic on this. And again, I'll start pulling out after a while. I'm typically good and comfortable with 5x's. This one I'm looking at not pulling out too close to that 10 to 12 marker. I really think it's going to go up there. And those numbers only require it to get to not even $1 billion market cap. Not even. So let's go on a little bit about the coins that I don't own, but I still think are great pickup and buys. Let's do the risky one that you have to be slightly of a degen to get into in the first place. This one is called Rio or Relio, R-I-O. I do not own this one. I've looked into it a lot. The thing that stopped me personally from getting into it's not on any large exchanges. That's the thing that's got me. It is a real world asset, RWA, tokenization, specifically on real estate. So a lot of people keep throwing out rumors about them with BlackRock. I haven't found anything substantial other than they know about each other. Well, someone knows about BlackRock. All right. But it's really big on tokenization of everything, but specifically real estate and real estate specific equities. So it's got some big partners from Algorand. So Algo's a big one, Stellar, Changely, many other ones. This is also newer. It's been around for a while, but it's been adding a lot of new things. It's going to get its own hot wallet before long. I think that's coming up in quarter 1 of this coming year as well. They called it free launch. It wasn't free launch. It was semi-free launch. The tokenomics at first glance look awful. But if you look into where it's actually distributed and when they're having the releases and everything, it's pretty darn good. It just looks god-awful at first. Because last time I looked, I think it was like less than 10% of the coins are out. However, 50% are locked away that are in there for treasury for future creation, issuance, and they can kind of use it for whatever, mostly for marketing. That's 50% already tucked away. So instead of there only being 10% of the coins out, we already know where 60% is accounted for. All of a sudden, inflation doesn't look too bad. And they put the rest of it in team allocation of less than 10%. Pre-sale was about 3.5%. So I think this is pretty good with a deeper look. But the first look, it looks awful. So in terms of popularity or social media, I've been shocked at how many people talk about this coin for it not being on a major exchange. I mean, just scroll through YouTube. There's a lot about it, and that just surprised me for how small it is. Last time I looked, it's around $1.04, so right over $1. It was right over 100. It was 125 million market cap. A lot of good room for growth. I see this thing hitting at least that $4 to $8. I know that it might not sound, so 4 to 8x, right? Again, I'm confident that's a pretty easy get in for it. And if for some reason it hits Binance, double it. I'll put a little bit more thought into it, but I mean, it would be huge bullish news for it to where I could see it hitting $10 this cycle. I'll be keeping an eye on this one during the bear market, so if you guys stick with me for a little while, you'll hear me talk about this one again. Pretty good chance. So, moving forward, Aerodrome Finance. This one's been talked about a lot. So Aerodrome Finance, currently it's around $1.50. It just hit a $1 billion market cap. Before I get into it, my prediction for it, bearish, I think around $8. On the bullish side, I'm thinking closer to 12 to 13. So I still think it's a safe call, roughly 10x from now. A lot of people I know are yelling at me because I've heard the price predictions of many other people. So what is it? It's a main token for the Base ecosystem, Coinbase, right? So the more Base is used, the more Aerodrome finance will go up. Pepe, there's your big Base coin. Moonwell, that's the financial backing for it. I almost put that on this list. I guess I'll call that honorable mention. Was a nice little swing trade for me. I almost wish I would have kept into it. But I do have that one, and I believe the next one I'm going to talk about in my, we'll call it experimental portfolio. So if you missed that video, a friend of mine who got into crypto way too late, shame on you, asked me if it was too late. I said, no, not really, but yes, kind of. What do you need help with? Sent me $1,000. I put into a portfolio with 3 different coins. I had my whole system for it. Did a video on this one not too long ago. And I like these. We'll see where it goes. I lost my own train of thought on that tangent, but I know I'm talking about Aerodrome Finance. There we go. So, again, it's the main liquidity and DeFi token on Base, which is Coinbase's ecosystem. Coinbase supports it, financially backs it up. So I do not own Aerodrome, though Aerodrome, Moonwell, and Illuvium are in my experimental portfolio for my friend. So I'm keeping up to date on this one. And I almost jumped back into it, but my ego didn't let me. What I mean by that is Aerodrome was my best play. Best play so far, where I bought it at 17 cents when it was still an experimental asset, just released about a month, maybe on Coinbase. And I watched it go up to, I think it was like $2.20, $2.40. I sold at 202. Obviously, like every other time this happens to us, we wish we would put more in, but I was thrilled. What was it, like a 17x, 11x? Amazing. It was 11x. I'm not going to math right now. I've done enough. Your turn. Math, tell me how well I did on that play. See if I do it again. So Ego, since I bought it so cheap, sold it at $2, I couldn't get myself into it. If I could get my friend into it. I think it's a great coin. I think it's an incredibly safe coin. Price prediction, again, $8 to $12, I believe. Would not be surprised if it went higher than that because Base is going to be used. And Coinbase itself is going to be used and talked about. So depending on how well, if Coinbase helps advertise it, it could be much further than that. Again, but I'm going to go with my opinions. The last one I'm going to talk about is, it's a gaming one. This is the risky one, in my opinion, the risky one. But it's at a great price to get into, again, in my opinion, not financial advice. So Illuvium, this is the gaming play. I think I did more swing trading than I thought I did when I look back at this one, because this is also a swing trade coin. And are we going to have a visitor? Hey, the Crypto Kitty, Mr. Pickles. He likes licking windows. Probably was going to be doing in the background. So, anyway, Illuvium. It is a gaming token. It is a game. Actually, pretty cool games. I've played, there's 3 of them, I believe. At least I'm aware of 3 of them. 2 of them I played. One, the large one, it's got his beta out. It is a play to earn crypto. I think the thing hit over $2,000 at one point. Already this year, it hit 150, maybe breached into 160. And it's down, last time I checked, was 51. It keeps going between 43 and 50. I guess 43 to 51. It's the second bull run for it, so it survived well, and it got up to over 3,000 last time. There has been more coins released, but still a low coin count. There's roughly only 5 million coins released, so it's volatile. The market cap is just under 300 million. It's about 290 million last time I looked, around the $50 mark. So this one's hard to predict. It's done so well previously. It was, like I said, 150. I'm kind of seeing this one close to the $700 to $1,000 marker, but I think it's going to be very quick. So again, when you have a low market cap coin, this one's not tiny, but it's lower. They tend to be more volatile. When you have a low supply, that's the big one. That makes a huge price change quickly because there's only so many. So you just buy a couple of coins. It's a much larger percentage if there's 6 million coins versus if there's 6 billion coins. Again, math, it works. So expect this to be very volatile, or more so, I'm expecting it to go up and down pretty freaking quick. So if you look into this one, or really any coins that have a small coin amount for it, keep your buy limits, your sell limits, keep checking it if you're not comfortable doing that. I do expect this one to go up and down relatively quickly, but if you get in at the right times, which I think right now is a great time, the only reason I haven't hopped back in is I promised my friend I wouldn't buy the same coins I put in for them. Social thing, whatever. Great spot to get into it. So there you have it, everybody. Much longer video than normal for me. Hopefully some of you hung out for the whole time. So these are the coins that I think are good ideas. Yes, there's other coins that are great ideas to buy for this bull run too. But if you've been hesitating, quit hesitating. Make a move and make sure you did your research first. And let me know, what did you think? Were any of these coins ones that you own, or any of these ones that you've never heard of? Do you think I'm full of it and these are all going to zero, or I'm giving the world's worst price predictions and they're all going to 100x still from here? Let me know in the comments below. Again, I genuinely like hearing from you guys. I'll read, I'll respond. If you really want to argue, I'm certainly not against that either. So thank you all for hanging out with me today. We'll do it again soon. Mr. Pickles. Yes. Who's the best crypto kitty? Mr. Pickles. Peace.